Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or hello in the future for those that are joining after our recording. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Luke Hogue. I'm Director of Solutions Engineering here at Sessionboard, and I am joined by Josh Perlin, our CTO and co-founder today. Couple housekeeping items before we go ahead and get started. Please go ahead and utilize the chat and Q&A. We will save some time towards the end of this webinar to go ahead and answer all of those questions, and I will answer in the chat throughout the process as well. If we do not get to those questions for you today, by all means, we will be sending this recording out post-webinar, as well as following up accordingly if there are any additional or outstanding questions that we may have. Now for today, I want to go ahead and provide a brief overview of what Sessionboard is and who we are. So with that, I know we have a lot of current customers joining us as well as prospects or just partners in the chat as well. So with that, what Sessionboard is, we are hyper-focused on your session, your speaker, and your content management. So what we're looking at here, this is kind of the Sessionboard wheel of all of the different features and functionality that we have within the platform. So oftentimes we start with that enterprise abstract management, that call for speakers, call for papers, call for abstracts. We support various different approaches to the evaluations that may come into play of that. So making sure that your review committees can come in, score those different aspects as you need. We also have the personalized onboarding portal. So items that your participants of your sessions or your abstracts may be utilizing. So items of collecting their headshot, their bio, ensuring that you're able to track all of those tasks. Also with that is the communication of your participants throughout your event, making sure that they know what they need to do before their event or on site. All of that know before you go information and just the curation of the communication is all centralized into one location for you. Also within Sessionboard, we do that agenda management. So click dragging and dropping, building out your agenda, supporting identifying of your conflicts, multi-track management, poster management, any and all of that component that helps you curate and build out a program that you know and love. And then lastly, within this, we also have our content management distribution. So think of all of those integrations or where you're sending it to that third-party destination. That's all supported there, whether that be through the embeddable content or through the API or one of our native integrations that we support. The last two items we have is an overall awards program as well. So oftentimes we see this running in parallel with your existing events. Same concept of nomination or submissions, and then the evaluation supported in there. And again, this all lives overarching on your speaker CRM or your speaker database, giving you a central location for a source of truth, allowing for you to go ahead and source your speakers, identify the historical context of all of your content. And again, it's one central location for anything and everything. Now, for today, we're going to go ahead and focus on a couple key areas of our AI agents, as well as what's to come in the future with Sessionboard. So with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Josh, and we can start discussing our agent concept.
All right. Thank you, Luke. Happy Tuesday, everyone, from sunny Nashville today. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. We'll dive into it. So kick us off here with an overview and a slightly blurry image of our logo. As Luke just said, Sessionboard platform connects your speaker session and content all in one platform and built for your event team and your marketing team plugged into whatever stack you run. So really focused on letting you bring together your best of class, best of breed solutions into the platform around your data model. So it's your data. You should be able to pick and choose the tools you want to use, and that you should expect that they all work together seamlessly, especially in this day and age and this technology. At least that's our belief. And so we categorize our platform in a couple different ways here. And this will feed into our AI agents that I get into next. And so our program, this is all about managing your program from call for papers down to your sessions, your abstracts, the portals, your awards, and that will include surveys coming this summer as well, including integrating and syncing back any survey results that you have in partner platforms. We then get into our Relate module. And so within Relate, you've heard a lot probably about speaker CRM. All of the data that your AI agents, content agents have access to is cross-event and then within an event as well. Leveraging your data, compounding data year over year to give you more and more value the more data you give it. And then we'll post a full FAQs about our AI process as well, so you kind of know how we handle data. And so we will be adding contract support and sourcing. And so one of the agents we'll talk about today is the Scout agent, an agent that's actually able to go out, help you scout new speakers. Then you can start to think, well, what else can it help me scout? Maybe exhibitors, sponsors, but first starting on speakers for your events. So think about it as another input to your call for paper, call for abstract, as a way to find SMEs in your network and beyond. Now, our market module is ominously blurred out. So you attend the July webinar, little built-in advertisement on July 9th. We're going to be unveiling our marketing suite and the value that it will bring to all of our customers and future customers as well. So super excited for that one. So be sure to sign up. And then altogether, how you can use MCP. So whether it's with Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, whatever it is, today we'll talk a little bit about how you can take all this data, leverage it, and really connect to your different platforms however you see fit. So here's the agents we'll talk about today. Team lead overall, this is your agent that orchestrates and oversees your other agents. Think about this as the boss agent, if you will. And we'll dig into what that means. We'll talk about the reviewer agent, scheduler agent, coordinator, scout, and editor. And then we'll look at Claude as well. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So please use the chat, ask any questions as we go through. The team will interrupt me with any questions so we can dive into it and make sure they get answered. And it can definitely be more of a conversation that way, so you don't just have to listen to me. So here we are. I'm going to be demoing in our beta navigation. So this navigation may look a little different than what you're used to, but it is something we're working on to better categorize and provide you better UX around accessing what you need when you need it. And so that's why this may look a little bit different, but same functionality. And you'll have access to this soon enough. And where we'll really be focused is our agents, and agents are part of our early access program. So as part of our early access program, as we talked about on last webinar, we have our preview items. These are items that you can come in and turn on. They're stable for daily use. We're still polishing them, taking care of some rough edges, but you can turn them on and use them. And our agents are a part of our preview category there. And then we have a number of things that are in beta as well that you'll see graduated to preview soon. So within agents, we'll first dive into our coordinator agent. And so you can view everything here. You can turn on and off the different content agents or event agents that you want to use and that bring you and your team value. And our hypothesis with anything on the agentic front here is that it extends your team. None of this is meant to replace your team. Very much it's meant to take a lot of these low-level tasks off your all's plate, give you time back in the day to focus on more important things. And so we'll go through each one and go through the why we built these based on our experience and really building hand in hand with you all over the past 5 years and even more so over the past decades of experience across the Sessionboard team. And so the coordinator agent, the hypothesis here is that we go through it, you go through it. Your inbox often becomes the interface when chatting with speakers, and you receive emails with headshots and bios, maybe with your exhibitors and sponsors too. Hey, here's my logo. So, okay, well, I sent you the speaker portal link to do that, but thank you, I will go do that. And so how do we make that really easy for you and your team? Take off that lift of all of that inbound you get in your inbox. And what if we could give you an agent that has its own inbox, has its own email address, that could draft emails for you every morning. And so you come in and the coordinator agent here, let me go here, the coordinator agent will already have drafts to individuals, let's say to Luke, saying, hey, Luke, I see we have some tasks that are incomplete that are coming up here. We need you to log in and complete the task. Here's a direct link to your portal. By the way, if you want to email me anything here, I'll actually take care of it and complete the task for you. And so it's starting to think about it a little bit differently, right? Almost like a graduated way of giving people a reminder email where it's hyper-personalized. And so if we jump into what that means here, and we have some demo data in here, but you can actually see, imagine if you could come in and for every speaker that has a portal, you have a customized email that's drafted with your tone, your company's tone, your event's tone, your voice, and you've really structured it how you want it to draft these emails. And so you can come in and quickly review them. Maybe you have VIPs flagged separately from other speakers, and it can go through here and really emphasize, hey, this is way overdue, or this is coming up. And you can add any footer or signature or call out anything else you want to make sure that it includes. You can come in here and bulk select and say, okay, these are all good, approve and send. Or maybe you just want to do them all and you trust it. But the idea here is you are always in the loop as the human. And you'll see that with all of our agents. None of these agents are taking actions without your permission. And so sending these emails is an example of that. You can always view a preview. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, I think it's important here is like we're giving you a foundation to build from on this email. You can edit it directly in line here is the other nice thing. It's not, oh, this is the exact template that I have to use. If I want to make any change or anything along those lines, this is still your data, still your communication. So you're fully in control of the tone and what's actually sent out to all of your participants as well.
Yeah, great call out. You can bring in any merge tags, much like you can in any of the other emails in the platform as well. And so when emails are sent back, you'll actually get, let me open this up here for you. As an example, so you can actually see, let's say if someone sends back a headshot here, we can pick up that they've sent back a headshot to you. And you can then commit that to their profile with one click. Maybe they send you the bio back or a headshot or a document to complete a task. And so here, now we're removing you having to download that from your inbox, go into the portal, upload that on their behalf. You should just be able to do it with a click. So super, super early, but also very exciting. There's a lot we can do with this if you start thinking about how we can further turn the inbox into this interface and really as an extension of the portal then to reduce friction for you and your team. So excited to get your all's feedback. Definitely all ears for how we can make this better and better. Yeah, so please let us know. Luke, anything else on the coordinator agent?
No, I think it's just the importance of it's here to help supplement the process and give you a foundation to build from. It's not going to replace all of your comms or anything that way, but it's just a great tool to help supplement the overall process for the team and save some time for sure.
The next one we'll talk about here is the editor agent. And so a lot of times our content teams and event teams, what we have to do, let me pull up my helpful visual aid. So a lot of times what we have to do here is, okay, we've got all of our sessions, abstracts, submissions in place. We've got our speaker bios. I need all of our session titles to be capitalized. Oh, and I need them to be maximum 300 characters, right? We have a lot of partners where that's just part of the style guide. Or I have a tone of voice for my corporation, from our marketing team, from our brand team, that we need to bring into all of our session descriptions, all of our session titles. And I need to make sure everything that we're going to put on our website and publish to our attendees matches that. Today, what we see our partners doing, we've got to pull that out here. We've got to pull it out, put it in a spreadsheet, probably run it through Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, or to hand it to our marketing team. And we kind of see this friction start to develop. Now you've taken something out. Now you're running it through something. It's updating your data. Now you have to get it back in and do a full import back in, or now you're out of the system entirely. And so how can we make that easier for you? So within the platform here with the editor agent, you're actually able to come in, set your tone of voice, set your brand voice, and then set what you want the editor agent to review. Do you want it to review your title, your description? Do you want it to suggest tags or tracks across all of your submissions? And you can give it specific instructions as well there. Do you want it to look at your sponsor descriptions, your exhibitor descriptions? Do you want it to look at your speaker bios and help format those as well? And so all of these are going to run, and this is a little bit different if you've used previously, this was called remixing in our previous AI product, which is now the editor agent. And this is going to run continuously. Any edit, any new submission that comes in, it's going to pick up on that and then provide you any additional recommendations. And so you'll be able to view any of those suggestions right here at any time. You can click in, say, okay, I have a couple new updates here. It looks like the editor agent is recommending updated tags here, and then it could update, provide recommendations on updated descriptions as well. Maybe I want to refine that. Maybe I want to say, I want to refine this suggestion and actually want you to look at this instead. I can do that all in line here. And so just as with the coordinator agent, you are in control and you can approve or discard these changes right here. You can also view them straight on the profile. This is something new from our previous version. You can actually jump in to a submission and actually view all of the recommendations right here as well. And so a number of different ways you can go and find those recommended updates from the editor agent. Luke, any specific ways you see partners doing this today, either offline or in the product?
Yeah, so I had one that we actually worked through this last week with a customer who they focused more so on the education scientific space, and all of their titles needed to be in uppercase or capital case for all of their titles. So it was a quick item that they were able to put that in for the criteria. Didn't change any of the naming convention or anything that way, but we're able to blanket apply this across numerous of their sessions that were coming in. So again, what would have been a mass export, reconfigure, or typing in directly was able to be done in bulk and just accepted across the board. So huge time saver that way. That was one quick and easy way that simple change, but helped save a lot of time in there for that specific customer as well. Um, and as we are going, going to jump in with some questions on here while we're chatting.
Yeah, I was just taking a look as well.
Um, we did get one question about suggestion on how to start utilizing this agent within it. Do we set it up with a small batch of speakers, larger amount of sessions? What does that look like, or anything that way for these agents to kind of test within their space? And I think to answer that one, it would definitely be a case of we can go ahead and utilize this in a cloned event to make sure that you're executing it in a safe space for you to go ahead and manipulate your data and try it in that case. But the nice thing here is you can do this in small batches, or you don't have to accept any of these changes or revisions that are being made by these agents too. You can always refine and change items and then rerun it as well. So truly get to pick and choose, which is a nice aspect of the agents.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, I mean, I go back to these agents are not going to write any data without your approval too. So it is relatively low risk. You can run any different iterations that you want as well without mucking up all your data. And uh, Andrew, I see your question about the coordinator agent, going back to that. So this is like, keep pushing us, give us all the feedback you can. Like the coordinator agent, we've definitely heard, well, we want this to send from our email domain and this email address. We want to be able to have that all branded. So we are working on support to respect whatever email address you have in the system today to be able to send using that same email. We already support that in the product today. But where we want to get to with the coordinator agent is actually give it its own email address at your domain, much like maybe you would in help desk software, and for it to be able to be the email you put on your speaker pages and public pages for speaker support. So definitely that is more in the direction we're going. So more to come there. And then Christine, for fixing spaces and fonts and abstracts to all be standard. It's a little bit more copy editing today on the editor agent versus styling. Definitely its evolution will go more in the way of styling in that way. So styling meaning actually bolding headers, things like that. So it's not very good at that today, to be honest, but it is great at providing recommendations on maybe updated copy. But kind of picking out and making your styling of the text more consistent is where it needs to get better.
And I see the
And
item that led to that question, Christine, was regarding copying and pasting into your bios or your abstract fields. So we did make some adjustments recently within the past like 2 weeks to just support even better experience regarding copying and pasting into those description fields, your WYSIWYG fields that you'd be referencing as well. So if you do have any additional challenges with those, feel free to reach out and we can get you sorted on those too.
yeah, nothing better than pasting from Word and then having to spend 20 minutes fixing everything. So hopefully that's eliminated. Let us know. Cool. And this is all available now as a part of our early access program. So you can click in, turn it on. But with that, please give us feedback, help us make it better, so we can make it better and better for your team. So let's go ahead and look at the reviewer agent here. So we just took a look at coordinator, our editor agent. We'll look at reviewer now. In the same way that our editor agent runs, so does our reviewer agent. And so previously we called this AI evaluators. Now it's your reviewer agent. It's more proactive and it takes about 30 less clicks to use, to be honest. So much, much better. The reviewer agent is going to operate around the clock, any new submissions that come in, any edits to submissions, and you're actually going to create the personas. And so if we look back on why we created this originally, it's I want to get a different point of view on my submissions. Right? I have my evaluators. Maybe I don't have an evaluation program or reviewer program. But even if I do, I want to supplement it with other voices just as kind of a rubber duck, if you will, or a mirror to bounce it off of. And so we've seen partners create personas for attendees. Hey, I want my attendee persona to go through and review all of these submissions. And you can actually craft that attendee persona to see the world like your attendees would, for example. Or, hey, I want you to look at this as a top professional in this field, like of this certain field in medicine, for example. And I want you, this persona, to review these submissions. And so you can start to see there's a number of different ways you can slice and dice this and get feedback, additive feedback on top of what you're getting elsewhere to help inform. So let's go and look at what that means. So I'm going to click in on the reviewer agent here. And you can start to see, here's my persona library. And if you've used the product if you've been in the product for a bit, you've probably seen personas. Maybe you've wondered what they were for. This is it. And so you can turn on personas, create new personas here. You can say, this is my attendee Jane persona. And what is Jane's title, biography? How do you want Jane to provide feedback? Positive, constructive, critical? What does Jane like and dislike? And this is going to help inform kind of how this persona responds to certain things. And then finally, what questions do you want attendee Jane's persona to fill out and answer for you about all your submissions? And some of these are qualitative, but really the most helpful ones are quantitative, because you can then hold them across personas and say, well, my attendee persona rated this a 5, but my SME persona rated this a 2. And so it starts to pull out questions of like, why? What is the delta there? Why did this see it differently? So a number of different ways here you can customize the questions. And then you can bring your personas and activate them here. And you can see a summary. And I'll show you what it looks like then when the reviewers run. And so you can always view it here in your team lead inbox, and we'll go through what the team lead is. But let's go ahead and look at this one here. So here's an example of different reviewer runs. And so kind of all of the instances that our reviewers ran against some sessions here. So our Dr. John persona ranked this 3 out of 10. If we click in, we can view the answers of why Dr. John ranked this 3 out of 10. And this will all reflect back to us well. If we can go here, view the reviews tab. So we start to see all of our evaluations from our human reviewers in the product across all of our evaluation plans and rounds, but now we can also see all of our reviewer agent feedback as well in that same view. Luke, I'm curious from your end, a little bit of your take on where AI evaluators was, where it is now, and kind of what this reviewer agent helps enable maybe that we weren't able to do before.
Yeah, most definitely. So the curation of the personas is very similar to what our existing customers know today, but one of the largest differences is the agent approach allows you to set this up and kind of leave it. It can start running in the background for you, where historically you were coming in and picking and choosing, I want to add this persona in, and now I want to go ahead and run this evaluation plan. The nice thing with this is as a submission's coming in, you can already have these agents set up or the reviewer agent that's taking that first pass for you the second that it's being submitted. So again, just helping supplement your process and take a first pass as it's coming in or constantly running in the background as opposed to manually having to come in and initiate that evaluation for these personas as well. So really big in just that automating of your flow for everything, and allowing for your personas to work in the background as your call for papers or call for speakers is open.
Very cool. And we do make it easy. So it's easy to pull over your personas event to event. Maybe you have this persona you're really passionate about that you created that gives you great feedback. You want to use it in this event. You can always copy it and pull it over into any event you want. So definitely trying to break it out of any siloed approach for you. So let's jump into Scheduler. This one has a long history, but let's go in and look at the preview of it. So I'd be curious, we don't have to do a poll on it. Maybe you can raise your hand and I can't see you. But how many of your agendas start with sticky notes on a whiteboard? How many of like your content planning process, if you think about really where it starts, and it's different for everyone, but somewhat similar, that we oftentimes have an idea of like, okay, this, I know we need to incorporate these topics into this event. Maybe it's coming from top down, or maybe we are the top. And you have sticky notes that you make sure these are themes that we need to bring in. And then, maybe you have some speakers that you want to incorporate. Those are a different color sticky note. And then you start having rules in your head. Well, Wednesday at the event is going to be our big day. This is when we need our keynotes. And so you start to build out these criteria or rules in your head that oftentimes live either in your head or your team's head. Maybe they're put down in a Google Sheet. But oftentimes they're not codified. They're not put in a way where, let's say, an algorithm can understand them and constantly run them against your agenda. And so with the scheduler agent and an assistant that I'll show you here, this is built on a lot of history and just living and breathing agendas. We are content nerds at Sessionboard. And so we actually have over 30 years of engineering experience that have developed an algorithm just focused on building your agenda based on your rules. And I'll go into what that means. And so it can take how you see the world. So let's jump into program and agenda. Click out of that. And then what I'm going to do is click into any of our views here. And I'm going to click on scheduler. And so this operates on drafts. What we're going to do is start manipulating drafts of our agenda based on our rules. We're going to slide toggles back and forth, say, well, I care about this more, this less. Then I have some hard constraints here that always have to be true. Like room capacity must always be respected. We can pull back in your session registration counts from our great partners, any of our reg partners that we integrate with. We can pull that in and hold that against your room capacity and help flag, hey, you're actually over capacity here. Room conflicts. So maybe a room can host only one session at a time. Speaker conflicts. Maybe Luke cannot speak at 2 sessions at the same time. So some fundamentals here. But then on top of that, my days start at 8, they end at 6. I want you to really look at things in 30-minute intervals. I want you to only look at accepted sessions, format durations. Any of my keynotes, I want you to plot them at 45 minutes. Any of my Inspiration sessions, maybe those are going to be 30 here. Visibility, maybe you only care about Hall A and Hall B and none of your other rooms. So you can really filter down to what rooms you care about scheduling against. And then scheduling behavior, do you want to ignore existing times that you have assigned to existing sessions? Do you want to ignore assigned rooms? Do you want to, it's kind of crazy mode. Do you want to go, do you want to take all limits off and leave it up to the algorithm to decide, or do you want it to still respect the times it already is and the rooms? And then those rules here, and let me zoom in to make it a little easier to see, but these rules, do you want to group by track, avoid parallel topics, balance across days, right? So we have a number of different out-of-the-box rules that you don't have to use, but maybe you have your own rules here. These are rules, maybe avoid scheduling sessions from the same track concurrently to ensure attendees can attend all relevant sessions. Sessions should start on the hour, half hour to maintain consistency. So maybe I have one that is speakers from the same company should not speak on the same day, let's say. I can add that here. And so what we've done is we've taken the natural language you've put in, we've now paired that and created something the algorithm can understand by matching that against the metadata we have in the system. So based on what you gave us, we can go say, okay, well, we're going to need to look at the company of the speaker whenever we evaluate this session, and then look at the day they're in. So what does this mean? What can I do here? So let's go into a draft and then open this back up here. And then we can generate our agenda. So it's always in a draft. This is never going to impact your main agenda. You can't use it with your main agenda, mainly to make sure you don't accidentally run it in your main agenda and now your public agenda is garbled up because it's not a draft you wanted. So we have draft agendas for a reason, and they're super powerful. And we make it easy then to promote your changes to your main agenda. But let's go ahead and take a look here. So I'm going to generate my agenda, and you can actually start seeing it place the sessions in real time here. And it happens that quick. So whether you have 1,000 sessions, 2,000 sessions, 20 sessions, we're talking seconds here that it runs right in front of you. So there's no waiting. You're not having to wait for an email to come to you and then you access it later in the day. Luke, I'm curious from your end, the value of a tool like this in helping ideate against an agenda and just different ways you've seen partners use this.
Yeah, so I think the big thing here to highlight is this draft is being introduced in the click, drag, and drop agenda builder that all of our customers already love. So we're not removing that feature from you, but rather adding to it. So now this draft that is introduced to you, you can still manipulate. You can still make little revisions and everything before you commit any of those changes to your overall production agenda. Some other key items in here and just unique ways that I've seen customers leverage it is we oftentimes have customers that have an entire logistics team that is calling out AV requirements in a room or maybe tracking your departure time of your speakers or participants in that case. So they may have criteria in here that every room that has a respective F&B accounted for or specific AV requirements, I need at least a 15-minute turnover before the next session can start. Or those little things that you're just sticky noting or keeping in your head and you know the rules behind it is this is a great tool to go ahead and put that criteria in. Other item in there was regarding like departure time. Oftentimes we see customers collecting that information from all their participants or their speakers. I know speaker A needs to leave at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. They can't have a session within 3 hours of that or anything, just accounting for travel time to airport or anything that way. So there's a lot of those nuances that come into play of just building out the little rules and the ideas of what makes the program that you all need. And this is a great tool to kind of supplement and utilize that process.
Yeah, well put. All feedback is welcome as you dive in on this. Definitely, we want to make it easier and easier to use. With this as well, everything I'm doing in here and showing you is all you're able to do via Claude, you're able to do via ChatGPT, Gemini, all through our MCP server. We actually have an interface to create draft schedules. And so we know oftentimes this interface is not how you all work. You have a way, maybe you're already exporting it and doing it via Claude today. You can do that, connect to Sessionboard MCP, and have it actually build against your draft agenda and do the same thing, but maybe you want your inputs to be represented differently. So a number of different ways. It doesn't have to be through the Sessionboard interface. We'll jump through again, kind of what that means at the end here as we look at what our MCP is capable of. How do you commit
Josh,
sessions? Yeah.
I was going to say, question on how to commit a session from that draft to your actual agenda.
Yeah, great question. Any changes here, you're able to jump in to our commit view and view any of those changes, and you can accept change by change. Maybe you want to accept the date and time change, but not the room change. And you can do this all in bulk as well. You can accept all changes, or maybe you want to not accept that change. So really giving you finite control over what gets pushed into your agenda. Anything else on this one, Luke, before we move on?
I think we're good to go on the agenda component.
Great. Well, one of my favorites. So when we started out in our AI program early last year, one of our things was to constantly push the boundaries and be a little crazy. And it's not that crazy, but right, just think outside the box and really think about how we can better provide new ways to interact with your data, but also just continue to try and take things off your all's plate to focus on higher level items. With the team lead, so one of those things and principles we thought of is really you should never have to worry about, because we will keep introducing new agents, but that should not mean you have to keep worrying and think about new agents every time we release them. And so you should really only have to think about one agent, and that's the team lead agent. This is your chief of staff, if you will. This is your go-to that's constantly giving you updates and telling you what to prioritize. And so the team lead agent here, it's always picking out the top things for you to review. It's giving you highlights here of saying, hey, you have 9+ things that need your attention. In this test environment, I have 153, but you can go through and view all of those things the editor agent did, reviewer agent, and any of the other agents we introduce, you can click in and view those. And so you always have a top level view, and it's going to tell you, hey, this really needs your attention now versus some of the others. Along with that here is that, and I don't think, I might have to reshare my screen to make sure we get the full effect here. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to share this and I'll play some audio for you here. And so one of the things was want the team lead to be able to talk to you, and ultimately you should be able to talk to it. Like what if someday the team lead has its own phone number you could text with saying, hey, what's the status of my agenda? Hey, what's the status of my call for paper form? And so your team lead has access to all of that information. And one of the things it can do is give you...
Good morning. Here's your brief for the Global Tech Stack Conference. Your speaker coordinator wrapped up a task earlier today. Everything completed successfully, so you're all set on that front. It's been...
So you can start to see what if your team lead could leave you daily voice memos in the product, and you come in, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to receive a daily voice memo from an agent, but it is another touch point that you can come in and understand what's being done on your behalf, on your team's behalf, and then prioritizing the information you need to hear. And so the team lead has a voice, and ultimately you can customize that voice as well. And it can help you summarize what to do. So hopefully that's a very high level hypothesis of the role of team lead and then how we see continuing to develop it. I'm curious, you can put in the chat, is a daily voice memo something of interest? How would you expect to want to chat with your team lead or agent? Always all ears. Yes, you can. That is, we are looking at ways to rename it and maybe give it its own avatar. Yeah, I need daily motivation as well. And is there a team lead assigned to every user? It's right now, Bonnie, it's on the event as a whole. So it's not every user. You do get your own chat with the team lead. So your chat with the team lead is going to be different than Luke's chat. But everyone's going to get the same briefing today. But again, that's all feedback we want to hear if you want it to be different. The team lead today is capable of creating email campaigns via our new email campaign tool. It can create reports in the product as well. So if I go in and let's say, help me, speakers report, let's say, the team lead is able to reach in to the reports module, unless it's a test event, and then actually build reports as well. And so it can go in, create custom reports based on what you're saying, give you the results right here. You can see here under create, being able to go in and create any of these. So different ways, as the agent has more and more capabilities, it really starts to create this opportunity to give you UI that meets where you're at in your event lifecycle. So you'll start to see like generative UI right now is a hot topic in the world of AI. And so how can the interface start to become adaptable to where you're at in your event cycle, what you care about versus what your teammates care about too. So maybe you log in and this is not the dashboard you care to see every day. Maybe the dashboard should be more representative of what you need to care about right now. So those are like different ways we'll continue to push it here. Anything else, Luke, that I missed or that you think is important to call out?
Just one quick question that we have in here as well. Can we have multiple team lead agents in case we have one person focused on content and others focused on speaker management?
Yeah, I mean, that's the feedback we want to hear, right? So you can't today, it's one. But I'm hearing, can I have my teams have their own, and then it's scoped to what they need to care about, and it should provide recommendations around their priorities and the tasks they're assigned. So yeah, we'll take that back and get back to you. But today it is one per event. Yeah, great feedback though. How do you, anything else? Let's see. Cool. Well, I appreciate, yeah, agenda agents based on roles could be a way. So it is interesting, right? Like today in the platform, we have robust permissioning and grouping there, but we really don't have a way to group your individual team members at the org or event level in different teams. And so permission profiles kind of act that way, but oftentimes maybe you have team members that one has an admin, another has a different permission profile applied to them. So definitely a way we need to keep thinking. Yeah, Luke. Were you going to say anything?
Oh, no, we are all good. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. So let's dive into the next one here. Let's look at the Scout agent real quick. So one of our amazing partners, and this is inspired, I'll shout out, I think Zoe and her team, what they're doing around their scouting program and speaker scout program. And generically, what I'll say is, sending scouts, human scouts, to other events to actually help find speakers for your own event. Maybe you do this, maybe you don't, but it's an interesting way. Say, besides my call for papers, call for abstracts, how can I keep growing my my funnel, if you will, of possible people that can speak at my event? And so, what we're working on right now and have introduced the startup here is the ability to go out and track external events. So number one, so maybe you have, we won't say competitor events, but similar events in the industry that you want to track and see who is speaking at those events. And you want to see what topics are being covered at those events. And then maybe you want to see, if you do have someone on site, be able to bring back feedback and say, oh, Luke actually talked about this topic in AI and did a great job. I could see Luke being a great speaker for our event. So we have a couple of different things that we are introducing in our Scout module here. So number one is being able to bring that manual feedback back, being able to create scouting rounds here for different events, partner events, your upcoming events. Who is this? Let's say Luke is scouting for this event here, let's say, or Acme conference. And then we can come back and bring feedback based on how Katrina or Jasmine did on stage and bring those notes back. So all of those ecosystem kind of reviews you can bring back, you can track external events, then ultimately it's going to give you a pipeline. And so if you think about a true CRM, it's bringing back leads, it's bringing back prospects. This is very similar. It's prospecting speakers for your event. So that's when we think about the Scout module, the idea is to widen the net beyond call for papers. What other SMEs are out there that can talk about the topics that I care about for my events, and then just kind of give me that world, and then maybe help me communicate with them and reach out to them, and then maybe bring them in as a speaker to my event, and then put them through my speaker program. So a large hypothesis, but hopefully something that would be helpful to some of you over time here. And you'll see a poll pop up here. So please, if you have a quick second, just gut check. Very curious to see your all's feedback here on how you view these agents. Would you use them? Are they useful? Give us all your feedback here. And then, yeah, Karen, for the speaker scouting criteria, it's really up to you. You're able to put in your criteria for what you want it to look at, and just like with the reviewer agent, what do you want it to answer about when it goes out and looks at this event and these speakers, let's say. You can set the questions that it answers and the tone that it responds with and brings that data back in. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Chris. It can do both, yeah. So it's so you saw Chris in here, and Chris, our CEO, co-founder. It's a good call out. So it could be webinars, podcasts, blog posts. It's any form of content that it can go out and look at. And so where it does have live event to access, it could, right? It's not going to be a robot yet that attends the event, but if there's a live stream, if there's a recording or anything like that, it can actually go out and analyze and bring that back in. But otherwise, ultimately, it's always reducing that back to text and then doing an analysis against what you're looking for, and then the topics it's covering and demonstration of expertise. So it's looking at a couple different angles to prove authority over that. Yeah. Cool. And thank you for all the feedback coming in here in this. So let's take a look here. I'm going to pull up Claude and show you an example of using our MCP real quick. So pull that, open this, and I will reshare here and show you. Go into, let me share my screen. And keep the feedback coming, by the way. We appreciate it all. So let's take a look here. So what I've done is I've connected with our MCP server. And you will see Sessionboard in the Claude and ChatGPT connections or app stores, or whatever each platform calls it, here over the next month. And so today you do have to manually connect it, but you'll have kind of first class, click, activate it for your organization as you see fit here coming up. And then you'll actually go through the approval process. It authenticates against your account, and then you can choose what it has access to do. And so with that, let's see here, for example, what I had it do is I put in here, hey, help me understand all my upcoming events. And so I was chatting with Claude through the MCP into all of my events and the platform that I have access to in my organization. I said, give me a pulse check, give me a health check here about how all my events are doing. And so it called out here, hey, you have 39% of your sessions are decided. Here, 14% of your sessions have speakers that don't have photos. And this is all me just asking a very high level question. And it went out and reasoned about this here as well and brought this in. And then it goes out and says, calls out the specific problems with your event so that it sees from an event readiness standpoint, why it's at risk. And if you start to look at everything you can do today via Sessionboard MCP, you can list all your events, all your sessions. You can run custom reports. And so if you've been in the product, seen some of our other webinars, we have a really robust dashboard and reporting tool. And so you can actually run those stored reports or new reports, create dashboards. And then, as I was talking about earlier, you can manage your agenda drafts. You can create the same thing we did in the platform. You can create draft agendas with mocks of your agenda straight through the MCP as well. So curious, if you have any feedback on how you think you would use this, how you would want to use it. We're always all ears, and we'll be extending this more and more to give you and your team more power. Luke and team, anything that you've heard for how folks are using this, want to use it, and ways you could see it being used with our partners?
Yeah, I think this is just a good opportunity of if there's ever been that magic wand ask and it's not immediately on the roadmap or anything like that, this is a great tool that we're allowing access into the MCP. So can create custom dashboards in the meantime, can execute so many small little items that you're looking to accomplish, such as visualizing or contextualizing the events that you're actively building within Sessionboard as well. So again, looking forward to definitely diving further into all of this on July 9th with everyone too, and just how you can best use this, best practices within it, and utilizing MCPs directly within the Sessionboard platform too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, or I'd love the yeah, I understood about IT. We're always happy to chat with vendor teams. We definitely get it. We need an IT appreciation day just as we do some other things, but it's not easy, especially in this age of AI, understanding all the data that's running through our companies. And so we do have a full FAQ that we can post here about our AI process as well, but we're always happy to hop on calls with your vendor team, compliance teams to help chat through anything as well, if that helps. But yeah, we definitely seen and heard it all, and it's all valid. It's all important conversations to have. So the last thing I'll leave you with here is just bringing up this screen again. But we're working on a lot, but a lot in a very intentional direction here. And so through our program, our relate, our deliver modules, and then as Luke and team have called out here on Thursday, July 9th, we'll lift the curtain on what we've been working on the marketing and content side of the house. And so we have a lot of tools that all provide connected value that we'll be rolling out here around all of your event content. Content that you're capturing today or captured elsewhere that maybe you can start capturing within Sessionboard as well, then activating that and connecting the dots for your, like whether it's speaker bios or session descriptions, your sessions, your feedback on sessions. Your events are so rich today in this content. I know it's oftentimes overwhelming and that we have 20 different systems. We have a Google Drive over here that has gigs and gigs of videos of all of our sessions that we want to hold on to, but we don't have the capacity to activate that content. And so you'll start to see ways that we think we can help make that process easier, and then connect the dots and deliver more value to you through all of your event content. So hopefully you can make it. Please be sure to sign up. But any last thoughts, Luke, to take us out?
No, I think that's everything. And of course, any feedback as you are current customers leveraging this or anything that way, please feel free to share that with us and our CSM team. Definitely your feedback is what helps mold these agents, the product as a whole, to make sure that we're continuing to provide a platform and service that supports all of your event needs. So,
and And if you haven't heard about our content labs, if you've been to one, thank you. Like, it has been amazing to see you, work with you all. These are not demos that we do. These are actually peer workshops around event content. In different cities around the U.S. We'll be in London, Vegas, a couple other cities here, in Toronto at SEMA, and a couple other cities before the end of the year and into next year. So check out our event content labs. A great way to, one, network with your other peers in your area, but two, just put our heads together. How do we keep pushing event tech and the content, our approach to content forward as well? So hope to see you there, and thank you for you've already been there. But have a great day, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and hope to see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks. Have a great day.